Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are all doing well. Gutting news coming through for Manchester United. Mason Mount is out injured yet again for 4 to 5 weeks, having had a full pre-season, looking really fit, coming into the first game and a half. Thought he was one of our better players. He was leading from the front in terms of the press. Seemed to be a key part of that component for Manchester United in terms of us tactically. Him leading that press from the front alongside Bruno Fernandes. He looked really good in that first game and a half that we got to see him. Obviously, he was taken off in that game between Brighton and Manchester United at half time. And some of us thought it was a tactical change for Manchester United, bringing him off the pitch. But it wasn't. The manager came out after and said he seemed to be a little bit injured. They were looking at it, but it didn't seem too bad. But unfortunately, it is a real bad one for him. He's got a hamstring injury, which will keep him out to 4 to 5 weeks. He's released a statement himself as well. And we'll kind of discuss Mason Mount and his transfer to Manchester United, and now, of course, his injury problems too. There's also plenty going on in terms of transfers with Manuel Ugarte being in Manchester. We've seen pictures of him in Manchester as well for his medical, for finalising that move between Manchester United to Manchester United from Paris Saint-Germain. We've also seen Scott McTominay head into Naples, and he's landed and arrived in Naples to a rapturous reception from the Napoli fans. And I've got to say, fair play to him. You know, he had to leave Manchester United. I've made no secret of my opinion on that one. I feel like he had to leave Manchester United. Manchester United needed to improve on him in that midfield, and hopefully we have in terms of bringing Manuel Ugarte in. But you know, you want to go and see him do well. He's an academy lad from Manchester United. He's given us a few very, very good memories as well. Whilst he's been at the club, scored a few very important goals as well. Won a few trophies, and he's going away to Napoli. And he's receiving a reception like that. He'll be feeling really good about this, and I think he could do really well in Serie A in Italy. We've seen the likes of Chris Smalling go over there do really well. Obviously, Romelu Lukaku's gone over there and he's moved around clubs, but he's done well there. I think Scott McTominay will do really well there and showcase his ability. You know, his physical presence. I think he'll get a few goals for Napoli, and I think Antonio Conte and their fans will absolutely love him. But yeah, he's landed in Italy, in Naples, for that move to Napoli. Now, one thing I'm a little bit worried about here whilst I'm filming this video is the fact that last time I did a video and Manchester United had breaking news on an injury. It was Luke Shaw's injury. Remember that? I've released a video about that. And then literally 20-25 minutes later, they announced and confirmed some of the I think it was the Ligt transfer and the Mazraoui transfer. And you just think it's going to be typical of Manchester United to kind of try and bury that news about an injury with some good news, which they tend to do. So if I have to upload another video in a bit, I apologise. I wish I could have got it all in one video. I haven't been able to. Right. Manchester United's Mason Mount out to 4 to 5 weeks with a hamstring injury. He's released a statement. That statement reads, "During the last game I picked up a minor muscle issue. I've had it checked and it looks like I'll be out for a few games. Leading up to and during pre-season, I worked hard to get my fitness back to where it needs to be, and I felt re-energised, sharp and ready. I wanted you to hear it directly from me, how frustrated I am, as I expect you are too, and I will do everything possible to be back in best shape and help the team." And he says there he's frustrated, as you can imagine he is. I have a lot of sympathy with players that are constantly injured. I know I've had a little bit of a go at Luke Shaw for going away with England in the summer, but I don't blame his injuries on him. And you do have some sympathy towards players like that. Phil Jones, who hardly had a career because of his injuries and was massively, massively talented as well. And Mason Mount seems to consistently pick up injuries. United are probably cursed with injuries, to be honest. Loads of our players have done. Hopefully that's going to change moving forward, although Lenny Yoro's just picked up a massive injury as well. And Mason Mount's now going to be out. He describes it as a few games. In The Athletic, they say 4 to 5 weeks. So if we look at 4 weeks from now, we're looking at the fact he'll miss the Liverpool game, obviously, this weekend. But then it's the international break. Then we've got Southampton away. Then we've got Crystal Palace away. Sandwiched in between that is the game against Barnsley. And then we've got, on the end of the month, Manchester United against Tottenham. So if it was 4 weeks, he'd be probably back around at that point. But if it's 6 weeks, he then misses that Aston Villa game on the 6th of October as well, which even if he'd returned after 4 weeks, you probably wouldn't be ready to start in that game. And then there's another international break. So it could be a case that he's not back fully fit until the end of October, which would be absolutely gutting for him. And obviously, the international breaks probably help him in terms of not missing as many games as he probably could have, but gutting for him. And Man United spent a lot of money on him, a player that we could have got for free in this transfer window. Remember, his contract was running down at Chelsea, and every season we've had him, he's been injured. Don't blame that on him. And again, I think he's a fantastic player who has a lot to offer, and he maybe still has a lot to offer this season as well. Hopefully he can put this injury behind him, and contribute to the team, because if he does and he's available, I think he's got a lot to contribute. But you do look at that and you think you spent £60 million on a player that you could have got for free a year later, and now he's been injured for the whole time. So it is a little bit frustrating, and it kind of epitomises our luck. Although at the same time, with everyone fit and stuff like that, I was struggling to think, like, you have to fit him in somehow, at least you think so, because of his ability to press. And if you want to do that from the front and create those turnovers and create chances from pressing, then he's a big part of that. And Man United, when we took him and Bruno off, we missed them against Brighton. So, you want to keep him you want him in the team. But I was starting to think, where does he start if everyone is back? If you're starting a striker, if you've got Ahmad and, let's say, Rashford or Garnacho on the left, where does he start then? Because he's not going to start ahead of Bruno. He's not going to start deeper in midfield. So he would have been maybe on the bench for some games. But he's also a magnificent squad player to have. He can play on the right. I'd rather him play on the right than Anthony, to be totally honest with you. He can play on the right, he can play in the middle, can even occupy a position on the left or play deeper if you need to. That's a great player to have in your squad. Feel absolutely gutted for him, though, that he's injured yet again and is now going to miss more football for Manchester United. But you could also question the decision making in terms of spending such a big money on a player that has had injury issues and has continued to have injury issues while he's here. But fingers crossed, it's not too bad, man. And he's back and he's able to contribute in this season. Loads of other things kicking off for Man United as well. Obviously, as I was discussing, Ugate's in Manchester. They're probably going to announce that news as we're releasing this video. Ugate's in Manchester. Scott McTominay is in Naples. And also that young lad that Manchester United were signing, Sekou Kone, is currently undergoing his medical. Well, this was 7 hours ago when this news broke. But he was undergoing his medical at Manchester United. So his deal should be finalised today as well. And also from Dharmesh Sheth from Sky Sports, Manchester United are confident that Mamo Ugarte will be registered by midday on Friday to be able to play for in Sunday's game against Liverpool. So that's the latest with that, and I would love to see him playing against Liverpool. But yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Mason Mount, heartbreaking for him, injured yet again. Disappointing for Manchester United, a key, valuable member of that squad not available. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you're keeping it locked. See you in a bit.